Alright, so this is the Adult Ed Algebra Extra Credit Packet. We're on part 3. We're on page 5. So right now we have an inequality, and we're going to solve for x. So we have to subtract 5 from both sides. So now we have negative 2x is greater than or equal to 22. And we're just going to divide out the negative 2 on both sides. And with inequalities, the rule is that when you divide or multiply by a negative, you have to flip the symbol. So you have your x, and instead of greater than or equal to, we're flipping it so it's now less than or equal to negative 11. So we're going to make a point at negative 11. It is a closed circle because it can be equal to negative 11. And we're going to the left because it is less than. Alright, number 20 is a compound inequality. So to solve this, you're going to just add 6 to all of the sides. So now you've got 1, you got your n, and you have your 6. And the way that this is read is n is between 1 and 6. So when you go to your graph, got 1 and 6, these are both filled in. And you want the space in between because it's greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 6. So any number in between these two numbers satisfies the inequality. We're at 21, which is another compound inequality. Has 2 parts, so we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So we get x is less than or equal to 3, or we're going to add 4 to both sides. And we get x is greater than or equal to 6. So this is going to be similar to the last one in that it has 2 parts, but these are going to be opposite directions. So we want to point at 3 and one at 6. So it is less than or equal to 3, so anything to the left. And then greater than or equal to 6, so a closed circle at 6 going to the right. So the only numbers that you can't have are numbers between 3 and 6. Now we've got an absolute value equation, which we did not do, but I will show you how to do it anyways. So absolute value makes everything inside positive. So you're going to solve 2 equations for this. You're going to solve 6x minus 3 equals 15, and you're also going to solve 6x minus 3 equals negative 15, because if you end up with a negative 15 in the absolute value, that would turn it positive and the answer would be 15. So these are 2-step equations, and you get 6x equals 18. When you divide by 6, you get x equals 3 for one of your solutions. Then you're going to add 3 to both sides. You get 6x equals negative 12. And when you divide by 6, you get x equals negative 2. So that is that page. Now we're moving on to page 6, which has some practice problems. These are just combining like terms and simplifying, so we're not going to get an x equals or a y equals. So we're going to combine our x's in problem 1, and it may be helpful to put a box around the like terms. Make sure that you include the symbol that's in front. So we've got an 8x plus 16x, which is 24x. And then for the y's, we have a negative 9y and a positive 12y. Which makes a positive 3y. And that's your answer for that one. Moving on to number 2. So you've got 3 different kinds of terms. First you've got your y's, so we've got a 14y and a plus 23y for a total of 37y. Then we only have one number, so the plus 22 has to be in our answer, and so does the negative 15y squared. There's nothing those can be combined with. Problem number 3 has some distributing before we can solve it. So when you distribute the negative sign, it's like multiplying everything by negative 1 or taking the opposite of whatever your sign is. So really you have 5n minus 3 plus 4n. And you can combine the n's. You have 9n minus 3 for problem 3. Problem 4 is some more distributing. And negative 2 times 11b is negative 22b. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. So there's nothing else that we can combine there. All right, so now we have different variables. 10q times 16x is just 160qx. You could also write it as 160xq. It wouldn't matter because it's multiplication. And then you have plus 110q. Number 6 is more use of the distributive property. Again, you're taking the opposite or multiplying by -1. You've got negative 5x plus 6. So we've got some double distributing here. So 3 times 18 is 54z minus 12w plus 20z minus 12w. Now you're going to combine like terms. You have a 54z and a plus 20z for a total of 74z. And then you have two negative 12w's for a negative 24w. All right, number 8, we have some distributing. So the left is still 8c plus 3 plus 48c minus 120. So 8c plus 48c is 56c. And then a positive 3 and a negative 120 would combine for a negative 117. Now we've got 2 more left on this page. So we're distributing the 9. We've got 54x minus 18. And we're distributing the negative 3. That minus goes with the 3. So we have negative 27x squared, then a plus 9. So the x's we leave alone. Now the numbers, you have a negative 18 and a plus 9. Those together make a negative 9, and then you have your negative 27x squared for your answer. And finally, problem 10. A negative times y is negative y. Negative times a negative makes that a positive x. Then you have a plus 30x and a plus 42. So the y's can't be combined with anything, so negative y is in your answer. You have 31x, and then you have your plus 42.